Welcome to Brutally Honest Talk Radio, where you will learn about an issue minus the BS. We don't always say what you want to hear, but what you need to hear about the issues of the day. Here's your host, Inger, along with Elmo, with his political insight and commentary.
Hi, welcome to Brutally Honest Talk Radio. This is Inger, and I have with me Elmo. And we are glad to have you back with us for this episode. And as usual, it has been an action-packed week. So let's jump right in. What do you have for us today, Elmo?
Hey, Inger, and I hope you're doing well. And three main things that I got is an excerpt from a recent Bill Maher show where he talks about 8 words, talking about the definition of words.
Okay.
We got the latest smackdown, which is Ted Cruz going after Attorney General Garland. And that's real interesting. That's going to be later on in the show.
Okay.
And got some more news about the status in Chicago with the crime. So had to touch on that.
Absolutely. Wow. So where would you like to start?
Yeah, first, I want to start by saying congratulations to my Atlanta Braves and hopefully also yours, the listeners, for the winning and reigning champion now of the World Series.
Yay! Yes. America's team won America's game.
Yeah.
Best.
Hey. Atlanta is one of my favorite cities in America, and I've been around to a lot of them. It couldn't have happened to a better team.
No, it couldn't have. And it's very timely with everything going on, and also Virginia won. They have a new governor. Yay, Virginia! They have a new governor, a new lieutenant governor, and a new attorney general. And the new lieutenant governor, she is the first Black lieutenant governor in Virginia's history.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yes, and why is her name escaping me right now? But she's an immigrant from Jamaica. She's a veteran. She served in our armed forces, and she seems to be just an all-around nice lady. So hopefully we'll hear more about her coming months. Yeah. So that's exciting. So let's jump right in. Where you want to start?
Yeah, I want to start with, I got an excerpt, got audio from this Bill Maher, Real Time with Bill Maher, and again, talking about the definitions of words and how they're changing. So let's go ahead and hear from Bill Maher right now.
Okay.
Finally, new rule, instead of putting a Bible in hotel rooms, we should start putting a dictionary in there. Because apparently nobody knows what words mean anymore. George Carlin famously had the 7 words you can't say on TV. Well, here's my 8 words people need to stop redefining. Hate, victim, hero, shame, violence, survivor, phobic, and white supremacy. Comedian Hannah Gadsby characterized Dave Chappelle's controversial Netflix special as hate speech dog whistling. Well, dog whistle refers to when someone puts things in code because they're afraid to come out and say what they really think. That's what you get from Dave Chappelle? He's afraid to say what he really thinks. And it's not hate speech just because you disagree with it, nor is it phobic. Phobic comes from the Greek word for something one fears irrationally, like spiders or germs, but now is used as a suffix for anything you just don't like. I've been called commitment phobic. No, I don't fear commitment, I just don't want it. Other people do. Great. I don't call them single phobic. I don't like bowling. I'm not bowling phobic. And if I talk about how wrong I think it is to force women to wear a beekeeper suit all day, That's not being Islamophobic. I just don't like it. And I bet they don't either. I went as a ghost for Halloween once. I lasted about 20 minutes. Also in the category of we just don't like it, so we're pretending it's something else, is the word violence. Last year there was a staff mutiny at the CBS drama All Rise when some of the writers, I'm sorry, I meant victims, took issue with a scene where two women are in an elevator and a naked man gets on and they just continue talking calmly. And if you think that's offensive, you should see how the guy pushed the button. But the writers on this show found the scene objectionable and sent off an email saying, two women would not calmly continue a conversation with a naked white guy running into the elevator. That is violence. No, it's not. Violence is when it hurts. It usually involves leaving a mark of some kind. Of course, innumerable things can lead to violence, but I'm sorry, you can't take that word and use it for stuff that's just scary to you or just verbal, which is something I literally learned in kindergarten. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but if you don't know how that one ends, you need to repeat kindergarten.
And I'm back. This is right. This is true. He lists these words and people want to change the definition of things and make it something that it is not, particularly violence. So
Yes.
Violence is silence when you don't say anything. That's being violent and hurting someone.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you don't agree with someone, if you don't speak out and say something when they want you to say, it's really about agreement. I
Yes.
want you to speak on my behalf. I need a crowd. I need a mob. I need a majority rule. I'm standing alone here in the silence and the dark. And I need to gird up other people that think how I do and speak how I do. And if I don't, then we need to shame them. And they're somehow bad citizens or bad Americans.
Yes. Yes. He is really on point with all of that. I mean, absolutely on point. Because they have taken everything and they've adjusted the definitions to suit their feelings or whatever it is they're going through. He's absolutely right. And that phobia one, that exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's not Islam. I'm not scared of Islam. You're not scared of whatever. Just he's absolutely right. I just don't like it. Doesn't mean I'm phobic. I don't like it.
Right. That's another perfect definition. I mean, another perfect example of changing the definition, where a homophobic is supposed to mean that you are scared of gays or scared of homosexuals, when it really means, or the original meaning of it was that someone is scared that they are themselves, that that's their nature, or that they're secretly that way and they don't want it to come out. Okay. But saying that someone is homophobic because they discussed it, and it just is repulsive to think of the idea of two of the same being together, that person it really secretly like it. That's like saying, if you're sitting in Atlanta Fish Market, you're in a fine restaurant and you look over to your left and the guy sitting at the table is eating dog crap with a knitting needle. If you turn away from that, what that really means is you want it. I like saying that. It's just, because you're disgusted by it, that really means that you want it. How stupid is that?
Exactly.
You look at it, you see one thing, they look at it, they see something else. You smell the stench, that part of their nose isn't working. I mean,
Right.
People are different. I understand, but don't try to make me taking something that's disgusting and stinking.
Yes, exactly. I'm not going to participate in the lie with you, just to make you feel better, you know.
Another good one is white supremacy.
Yes.
I mean, it puts shame to people like Bull Connor and George Wallace and Lincoln from the Nazi Party in the 1960s, who was killed by his own. You know,
Yes.
it used to be white supremacists. They were registered. They were proud representatives of a white supremacist organization. Talked about David Duke, and they kept bringing that up years after he left the Klan and got into the politics. So I said, okay, it's questionable that somebody would put on a grand wizard robe and be a part of that. They may still have the same beliefs, but today you can call Donald Trump a white supremacist who, if they really wanted to get him on this, why has the media not been able to find any black people that know him personally that have said that about him? And he knows, and he has worked with and done a lot of business with black people. I mean, the MGM Grand, there's been a lot of fights there. You know, he's been seen shoulder to shoulder with Mike Tyson over the decades. And, a lot of boxers, most boxers are are black, especially heavyweights.
Yes.
Don King, they had to do business together. I mean, that was almost inevitable. So it's very curious that nobody, Omarosa,
right.
She worked with him on The Apprentice, and then he reached out to her, gave her a job at the White House. Didn't have to do it. She decided to go behind his back and started talking about all this stuff that's supposedly going on in the White House without his permission or, without getting clearance. Well, if he did anything racist, do you think she would be shy about sharing that information?
Okay, not even in the least bit. Would she be? Seriously.
I mean, she wrote a book,
Right.
She wrote a book. It's a thick book. There's no limit to the number of pages you can have in a book. If she had anything on Trump being racist, I guarantee you it would have been in there. That would have helped sell more copies, I imagine, if it were true.
Exactly. And that's something. And then on the flip side of that, no one is asking the question. Everyone is so quick to believe, yes, he's racist. But these same folks that are just quick and jump into the conclusion that he is, they're not asking for, like you just said, one person to come and say this is what he did to them.
Right.
All the people that he's met, and like you said, all the business that he's done, and all in his lifespan and everything he's done, they can't find one person. And the other side is not even asking him to find one person. They just want to believe that, and they're running with it because that's what they want to believe.
Well, we know that the Democrats have to lie. They tell huge lies, and you have to do that when the truth is shining in the favor of the other person. And one of the things that they basically lied about is the definition of white supremacists, or whoever is doing something, depending on who's doing it, that's going to change the definition of what it is.
There you go.
Barack Obama deporting more illegal immigrants than any other president in history. When he does it, it's good, or they may not mention it at all, may hardly play it up.
Right.
Okay. But when Trump wants to build a wall or wants to defend the borders, because it's Trump, then it's racist, or he's white supremacist because it's him.
There you go. That's it. That's it. It's in, and when it's like that, when the definitions are on shifting sand, then it means nothing.
Yeah, right. Right. You change the integrity of what it is, you're talking about.
And that's it. That is it.
Violence has been a problem in Chicago for several years now, mostly because of the gang problem being out of hand. And one of the reasons it's out of hand is Lori Lightfoot, an incompetent mayor who the police department has to answer to, mostly the chief of police. And again, just like I said, Biden is what you get when you vote for a guy because you want to get rid of the other guy. Lori Lightfoot is what you get when you vote for somebody because she's black and will have the first female Chicago mayor and the first gay mayor.
That's it. Yep.
We need the first this and the first this and the first that. And this is what you get. You get somebody in there because you want to put these crowns and titles and buttons pinned on them. And then when they get in there, they're not doing the job about stuff that matters.
That's it.
Stuff that matters the most. So this was just in the last few days I caught this. And Chicago Tribune, name of the story, 15-year-old boy among 26 people shot.
Oh my goodness.
6 fatally between Friday afternoon and Sunday morning.
Oh my word. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Even though Chicago has 4 million people, well, 2 million in the city, but metro close to 4 million. So let me read some of the details in this article.
Okay.
A 15-year-old boy who was shot and seriously injured in the Gresham neighborhood Saturday afternoon was among 26 victims of gunfire in the city between late Friday afternoon and Sunday morning, according to police. 15-year-old was near an alley in the 7900 block of South Justin Street when he was shot in the chest 3:45 p.m. Saturday, taken to Advocate Christ Medical. About a half hour later, a 26-year-old man was shot in the neck while inside a vehicle at South Monitor Avenue. Then at 10:25 a.m. Sunday, 22-year-old woman shot in the face by another woman. 7600 block of South Morgan. Shortly after 7 a.m. Sunday, 2 men were shot. All right. And it keeps going on and on. They list all of this. I mean, they list them individually and it adds up to, let me make sure I got the number right again. Yes, 26 people. Most gang members are not women, or most women are not gang members, whichever way you want to say it. And one of these victims was murdered by another woman.
Yeah, I heard one was the one lady shot the other lady in the face, and it was 26-year-old or something, 26 years old.
Yeah, so gangs, they account for some of the shootings and some of the violence, but then you still got regular crime.
Yes. And were these shootings, were they from gang members or just like saying before, kind of regular crime outside of the gang?
Yeah, I would say regular crime because in this, in these reports that they're getting, the reports are coming directly from the police. And the police departments usually have registered gang members, like they're notorious. They got their names. They got the name of their gang, which they can have. That is not a crime, but they're known for what they do. They're affiliated with it.
Okay.
They're proud and they're bold, and some of them have colors, and it's known to the citizens of a neighborhood also whose turf that is, what gang owns that. So they're proud of it, which makes it easier for police departments to get details about gang members, right?
Right.
So in these different victims that I'm mentioning, there's no mention. I didn't read all of them, but I'm jumping to the bottom now to see if there's any more. So let me. All right, just the end of it, the end of the article, real quick. Officers responded to a call of a person shot and found a 28-year-old man lying on the ground, several gunshot wounds to the body, taken to Advocate Masonic Medical, where he was pronounced dead. Shortly after, locating the first victim, 26-year-old man was found in the same area with a wound to the torso, taken to a different hospital. And then last thing it says, a witness told police they saw a male wearing a green hooded sweatshirt shooting at the victims. As Sunday morning, victims had not been identified. So gang colors are a thing in Chicago, just like they were in Los Angeles, or where the blue and the red with the Bloods and the Crips, You know what I would think? I never heard of green being a gang color, is what I'm saying. So.
Yeah, I haven't either, but it's just I wonder what the people of Chicago. Well, let me do two questions. I wonder what the people of Chicago are thinking or saying, or how are they processing this? And two, when is she up for re-election, or let's say just election, re-election?
Yeah.
And who's running against her? Because this has been going on for such a long time, and it seems like, you said 26, I'm sorry, over, it's not even a 48-hour period.
Right. Like 36 hours.
Yes. I just don't understand kind of where people's heads are at, and what the people that live there, what are they saying, and that sort of thing. And it would be interesting to find out if those crimes were all in kind of a same concentrated area.
Well, I would say, let me comment on that before I forget, because I would say that this is spread out because many of the victims were taken to different hospitals.
Okay, gotcha.
And when when you're in need of an ambulance or it's an emergency, they usually go to the nearest hospital, right? Even if it's one of these third-party ambulance companies that'll come in and pick you up, they go to the nearest one, because time is of the essence.
Yes.
So this is like spread out. Now there are crime or higher crime areas where it's going to be more likely to happen. But I guess what I'm saying is there are checkerboard patches and squares of crime areas that cover most of the city.
Okay.
That's what I would guess.
Okay. Wow.
But
go ahead.
Well, now just going to say that this is a clear case of the city needing martial law. The governor needs to step in and bring in the National Guard. If I'm saying that right, but there's or the state troopers. I don't know if the state would come in, but the governor has the power to declare martial law in a city. And I want people to remember that when it comes to freedom and security, those are two ends of a spectrum. One is very hot, one is very cold. So the more freedom you have, the less security you're going to have. And the more security you have, or the more police, or the more of a police state, the less freedom, or you'll be more inconvenienced by maybe having to go through more more procedures to do things. However, it's not meant to be a permanent thing. And you have to know that the criminals, just like the law-abiding citizen like you and me, we are aware of the criminal element. The criminal is aware of the law element and the presence of cops. And they know what the chances are of them committing a crime and getting away with it.
They do.
Especially if a lot of their friends have committed crimes and didn't get locked up.
That's true. And likely they'll be running in the same circles. Like you say, a lot of their friends. Yeah, they'll be. Wow.
Because, the media is telling you, that the police are the enemies of the black man. But the police didn't kill any of these 26 people.
Yeah, exactly. And I think recently there was, I want to say it was Minneapolis, where the George Floyd thing launched off, that they had a vote asking if they wanted to replace the police department with a quote unquote Department of Public Safety. Now, what that structure looked like or that sort of thing, I am not sure. But that particular measure was voted down heavily by the people of Minneapolis. So that goes back to exactly what you were saying, that folks, they want the police, and the folks that really need the police are the ones who are truly being victimized continuously over and over, that we don't hear about in the news. we'll hear about the big stuff and that sort of thing. But there are some people there in some neighborhoods that are just constantly being victims of crime, and they want it to stop. So, but yeah.
And everybody notice how Black Lives Matter is still silent.
Yeah.
They're aware of this. And the reason they're silent is because they don't believe Black Lives Matter. They don't have the proper or the correct name for their organization.
Woo.
Buy lots of mansions. They believe that they should make money off of the emotions of Black people.
That thing.
Donate your money, and without question, don't ask us how we're spending the money.
Right.
So you're not gonna hear anything from them, because it takes a white cop to kill a Black person, even if the Black person's in the midst of committing a crime or has a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
To hear from him or any of the NAACP or any of these people, with a situation like Chicago and with a mayor like Lightfoot doing such a bad job, I would think it'd be very easy for me to run against her, being the person that I am now and unknown, because I would get up there and say, listen, this is what's been going on under this administration. Are you happy with it? Do you like it? Because if I get in here, I'm going to change this thing, turn it upside down, and this is how I'm going to do it. And then I would list the points. And you can't be a leader in public office and be soft and be a nice person. That's not the job of that person. That's the job of a prince or a king or a public relations person. You got to come in and you got to crack heads. You got to fight fire with fire.
I agree with you.
People are nice and respectable. You be nice to them. You reward them. You give them the key to the city. You don't reward people that are allowing crime to continue and go on and take place. I mean, it's, we'll find out how Lightfoot feels about this when we can find a Black journalist to interview her, because that's one of her criteria for her to give an interview.
Right. And I didn't think you could do that, but apparently you can, and it's okay if you're certain people. So, yeah. But going back to what you're saying, you're going to come in, you're going to crack heads. It seems that, and this with some politicians, obviously not all, but they come in and they're trying to please everybody, trying to tell everybody what they want to hear. And then when they get in, they feel they like the power, they like the prestige, they like the influence, they like the attention and everything that comes with it. So they'll keep saying what they think people want to hear, so they can stay where they are, instead of doing just like you said, and just like Trump did. Trump said, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is going to be it. And he did X, Y, and Z, and that was it. So,
I mean, a guy with a real plan that meant what he said from the beginning. No nonsense. I don't have to, step out of my gold house and come down and do this, but this is the country that I live in, and I want to see some things change. But that's another thing. We've been through that. Yeah. So, and we don't live in Chicago, but it's a part of America, and I hate to see this, and it doesn't have to happen. So, maybe the day will come soon, and it wouldn't be such a bad thing if the people of Chicago rioted because of this.
Right.
Our lives are at stake, and the mayor and the police are not doing their jobs. So we need to, extreme circumstances. I don't believe that one criminal gets killed by the police and then we should be rioting in the streets. I don't believe that.
Right.
But when crime is coming and knocking on my door, and the people who work for us are not doing their job, they need to be held accountable.
Yes.
And they impeach people in office besides presidents. because that's how Arnold Schwarzenegger became the governor of Cali, because they were getting rid of that governor. And then he was able to come in. It wasn't even a regular election.
That's true. That's true.
So people get fed up enough. I'm telling you. And black people, traditionally and statistically, nationwide, we put up with too much stuff, and our bar is too low for what is acceptable.
It truly is. It truly is. And then to continue to vote for the same thing when nothing is improved, nothing better happens, nothing is improved. It's the same old till the neighborhood or wherever it is, the community ends up going so far down till it's hard to bring it back again.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yep. Hard to bring it back again. And then you got people with money and own businesses are moving out of the city, going to the suburbs.
They are.
So I got this video pulled up. This is Ted Cruz confronting the Attorney General, okay, asking him several questions, and he won't answer. And I'll talk about all of that and things in the video afterwards. But just listen to Ted Cruz in this rare form, the most angry I've ever seen him, but executed well. Check it out.
Makes a very substantial sum of money from a company involved in the teaching of critical race theory. Did you seek and receive a decision from an ethics advisor at the Department of Justice before you carried out an action that would have a predictable financial benefit to your son-in-law?
This memorandum is aimed at violence and threats.
I just asked a question. Did you seek an ethics?
It has no predictable.
Did you seek an ethics opinion?
It has no.
Did you seek an ethics opinion? Judge, you know how to ask questions and answer them. Did you seek an ethics opinion?
You asked me whether I sought an ethics opinion about something that would have a predictable effect on something. This has no predictable effect in the way that you're talking about.
So if critical race theory is taught in more schools, does your son-in-law make more money?
This memo has nothing.
If critical race theory is taught in more schools, does your son-in-law make more money? Yes or no?
This memorandum has nothing to do with critical race theory.
Will you answer if you sought an ethics
kind of curriculum?
Will you answer if you sought an ethics?
I am answering the best I can.
Yes or no? Did you seek an ethics opinion?
This memorandum has
Did
nothing.
you seek an ethics opinion?
This memorandum has nothing to do with.
General, are you refusing to answer if you sought an ethics opinion?
I'm telling you that there's no possible.
So you're saying no. Just answer it directly. You know how to answer a question directly. Did you seek an ethics opinion?
I'm telling you that if I thought there was any reason to believe there was a conflict of interest, I would do that, but I cannot.
Why do you refuse to answer the question? Why won't you just say no?
I'm sorry.
You're not going to answer the question?
I'm sorry. Ask the question again.
Did you seek an ethics opinion?
I'm saying again, I would seek an ethics opinion in.
So no is the answer, correct?
There was a conflict.
Senator, your time is up.
Let the record reflect the Attorney General refuses to answer whether he sought an ethics opinion, and apparently ethics are not a terribly high priority in the Biden Justice Department.
I don't think that.
Wow.
You want to start or you want me to start?
Whoa, that's action-packed. That's the most fired up I've heard Ted Cruz in a long time, and he's not one to sit by and twiddle his thumbs. Let's put it that way. Yeah, wow. And what I think the story going around is that Merrick Garland, who was the Supreme Court nominee, and I think he went before the Senate during Trump's term. He was going before the Senate to be a Supreme Court justice. He got turned down, and he somehow winds up in the Department of Justice. I have no idea how that happened, other than Biden probably appointed him or whatever. And I hear his son-in-law or his daughter or something are deep into the critical race theory curriculum.
Yeah, son-in-law,
and that they get paid X amount of money to do that. How that was discovered, I don't know. I would like to know how they discovered that connection. And who even thought to go look? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Right.
what were they doing to say, let me just see kind of where this backtracks to. So that would be interesting. But yeah, interesting that he could not just answer the question. He should have said, no, I did not ask because I didn't think that it would be an issue, or I didn't think that, it would be a problem. Just say it.
First answer the question, and then you can explain why after that. This dude is avoiding it. I mean, is making you look so incriminating. He's asking you questions about your son-in-law. If it's not true, you need to deny that the first time he brings it up.
Exactly. Just say it. No, absolutely not, and keep going. But he gets into I'm just floored. I am sorry, I'm just floored.
We have seen on many occasions when someone comes before a hearing, I don't know, you want to go back to Clinton. I mean, I've been seeing hearings for 30 years. Poindexter, Ollie North, they come and stand before people on both sides. It's not going to make you look good if you're avoiding a question.
Right.
Or if you say, some we've heard recently guys say, I'm not aware of that. I didn't know. What? You're kidding. Really? Right. So the two main things I say about this though is I think Ted Cruz is campaigning for president right now.
Oh, all right. Okay. That's interesting.
He ran once before. He may be at the top of the heap to run again, and he is a different animal than he was before when he ran for president. All right.
Okay.
He is more, but this is a good thing though. This is a good thing because you have to show people that you mean business and that you're passionate and you're going to hold people accountable. So I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard him say officially that he's running again. He's definitely young enough, and he's going to have even more experience next time around than he does now.
That's true.
Of course, it's all about out of the options that you have, who is the best candidate.
Right.
But the way he's conducting himself here, and also in other recent hearings, it's getting people's attention. And you at least want to show your base and the Republicans that you're not afraid to go toe to toe with these people. Okay, so that's one thing. And the other thing is, I believe Donald Trump being president of the United States and the way that he ran, that he has changed politics, that he has influenced the Republican Party and showed, look, you don't have to be a nice guy. You need to come in here and mean business and show them that you're not afraid to stand up to them. Forget about trying to be a statesman and being courteous and all of this and wearing an ascot with a doily and a carnation in the lapel of your suit.
Right.
You come in here and really, I mean, how could you be in Washington and be a Republican and not look up to Trump and not be proud of him?
There has to be some jealousy there. It has to be.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
Has to be.
Because he cut to the front of the line when they were in there for years.
That's it. That's exactly what it was. But that's an interesting take that you think he's running for president, because I feel confident that Trump is as well. I mean, I don't think Trump is done.
Yeah, he may be. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if those two will come head to head again, or if one will step down and let the other. I don't think Trump's going to step down. Honestly, I don't. I think Ted Cruz would be more likely to bow out, because I don't think they want a rematch of 2016.
Yeah.
So, that's an interesting take, though. That you have very interesting take.
Because we know that in the debates, Trump had a nickname for everybody, Little Marco and Lion Ted and all of this. And then Rubio tried to fight Trump's fight and tried to take jabs at him and throw insults, but it didn't work because that's not who Rubio is. So it backfired on him.
That's true.
But still, if you're gonna go up against him, I mean, first of all, you gotta, to get my attention, you gotta have facts and you gotta speak truth.
Yes.
But just as far as matching his energy, like Bernie Sanders was the only one who was matching Trump's energy, and that day never came when they had a debate.
Never.
But I really believe not just Cruz, but many in the Republican Party saying, look, you can step up there and speak your mind and say what you think, and just be honest with yourself, and you can get elected.
Who do you think Trump would pick for his VP? Do you think he would pick DeSantis or someone like a Cruz, a Ted Cruz, or do you think he'd pick someone else totally different?
Yeah, I think DeSantis or the governor of Texas would be better than Cruz. Okay. Both of them better than most of the people that we saw on the stage and campaigning before. I don't know if Ben Carson is completely done. They actually line up and believe a lot of the same stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And Trump ran already. He had Pence. So if the second time around he grabs Carson, nobody can say that he's doing it because Carson is black. Nobody can say that.
True. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then the governor of Texas, what's his name? Sanford?
No, Abbott, Greg Abbott.
Abbott. Yeah, and the way that they led their state and the way they handled the pandemic is a great platform to run on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I heard some very good things about Florida over the last week with how their economy is one of the best states in the union now.
Yes, it is. It is.
Everything is doing well. I mean, you could almost have a complete juxtaposition of Disney World and Disneyland. Say, look, folks, this is what happens when you do Disney the way I did. This is what happens when California does it.
Right.
Right? I mean, they're both warm climates. They both got millions of people that like to go to amusement parks. And they opened up and people came out. And herd immunity, that's one part of it. That played a factor. But for the most parts, you know, the restaurants of Florida didn't come close to suffering how the rest of the country did by and large.
That's true.
You know, last week there were a couple of restaurants in Atlanta that I was thinking about going to. Very good, right? In Decatur, like tucked away in a neighborhood surrounded by houses in this plaza. There were two restaurants in the same little plaza. One was called Double Dragon, great Chinese restaurant. And then the other one, Mexican, called a Matador Cantina. You know, it's been a few years since I've been to either one. This is like, for people in Atlanta, this is like about halfway from Moreland Avenue and 285. And just north of 20, you know, just north of I-20. So, you know, I was contacting them to see what their hours were and everything. Both of them, when you go to their website, both of them said permanently closed.
Oh no.
And a third of all the restaurants in America have gone out of business. And, you know, these aren't chains. These are small restaurants, authentic food, very good. And it's heartbreaking to see that. Not just the food, but the area that they were in and just the whole presentation that you know, that had to happen. I'm sure the pandemic did it. And it makes me wonder, you know, the people that waited on me when I was there, And there was some artwork on the wall. And I asked the server about it. He said, "Oh, the hostess, she paints pictures, outside here. That's her work." And then she came over. She was talking to us, and all these people wonder where they are now.
Wow.
What are they doing? What have they been doing? Are they all right? Are they making it?
Good gracious, that's sad.
It's heartbreaking, to see that.
Oh my goodness.
And the last thing I wanted to jump in and mention something that I heard about Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
I heard within the last week, Saudi, they said, you're doing something else, and then from the corner of your ear, you hear something that gets your attention.
Yeah.
Right. And it was kind of like that. It was like in Saudi Arabia, they have decided to step up and do their part. And then I turned my head and said, "Oh, what's Saudi going to do?" And they said, to play their part in helping to fight climate change. I'm like, what?
What's in Saudi? I think it's mostly desert, but okay. I'll play along.
No, this is like in the worldwide plight and the network of countries that are united and fighting against climate change and doing their part to bring down heat and emissions and all of that crap. And when they first mentioned Saudi, Ingram, thinking, oh, they're gonna get involved in what's going on in Afghanistan? Are they
Oh,
gonna go over there and help their neighbors?
right.
But no, that's not it. So
what is it?
yeah,
What are they
climate
gonna
change. I mean, like sometimes a leader or an administration can just throw out some words. They can throw out some fluff, just like Jen Psaki or maybe Biden himself said, we're going to have a truth czar and we're going to have an honesty committee about news and information. And it's like, we don't even know what that looks like on paper. What is the shape of that animal? Would I know it if I saw it? What is that? What is it exactly? And what are you gonna do? How are you gonna enforce it? Just grasping at the wind. So it played a part in climate change, but we don't really know what that means. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But my whole point of saying that is just that the people in Afghanistan who are being tortured and murdered, those are Arab people. Okay. So they're from the same region, they're of the same race, they are their neighbors. You got Saudi, Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Afghanistan. It's all that's their part of the world.
Yes.
They're mixing politics and religion where they choose to. Afghanistan has Muslims just like Saudi Arabia does, and they incorporate that into it. So, you want to do some good. I mean, y'all are a rich country. Y'all make a ton of money from that oil. Maybe you could pay some mercenaries to go over there and take out the Taliban. Something.
Yeah. It's but they're not. I don't know that Saudi Arabia has ever really helped any of their neighbors. Just even before, I don't know that they have. And I know they've had the resources, especially with the oil money. And I'm recalling maybe from the 90s and maybe early 2000s, where we were so dependent on them for oil and that sort of thing. And they had pictures of them riding around in these really exotic
the
vehicles.
Cars. You saw that?
Yeah, I saw that. That sort of thing. But I've never known them to help their fellow countries. I don't, if a country reaches out for aid, do they help? I don't know. Do they respond to the call? I know we do. Huh?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because like the United States, the citizens I'm talking about give more money to charity and foreign charities, foreign aid than any other country's citizens do. But Saudi and these other countries, they might just totally cut off and not have anything to do with them. I mean, they're a business country. They got princes and moguls and tycoons. You know, they got palaces there. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know.
I will say this though, because people slam the United States so much and talk about our politicians. You think American politicians are corrupt?
Right, that's true.
I mean, most of the world, if there's any money coming in there, you know, especially socialists, communists, they're trying to, you know, from each one according to what he has to offer and give to each according to his needs. And let's spread it out, make everything fair and equal output. All of that. Those are the most corrupt leaders.
They are.
I mean, so you know, it still makes America the best country to live in, because we know there's a lot of corruption in Mexico and just all these countries with the leadership and the president or the government and the money that they take, the payoffs and everything, because there's less accountability, there's less agencies, and there's less things in place to track where the money is going and whatnot.
Yes, there are. Yes, and that's by design.
Yeah.
Either, you know, and the people are probably so busy trying to survive that they're not, you know, that's not their focus. They're like, I need to get food on the table, feed the family, have a place to be. So they can't watch their representatives. So,
and that's probably how the government wants it. You know, we know that a lot of them, they want the people just worried about or focusing on the basics, so that they don't think about getting into politics or checking the politicians.
No, they aren't. And meanwhile, the cycle continues, and you know, getting worse and worse until there's some kind of revolt or another country like the U.S. steps in. You know, it's something else. It's definitely something else. But yeah, that's in Saudi Arabia. That's interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah, I don't know if Saudi Arabia, and like you said, in helping with their neighbors, if they are taking anybody from Afghanistan. I doubt it. Even though Biden is sending humanitarian aid to Afghanistan. Okay.
Oh, he is? What is that involving?
He is sending to the quote unquote government of Afghanistan. So he's recognizing the Taliban as the government.
Oh, right? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a mess. Exactly. And there's still, from what at last I heard, and I'm not sure if it's still that number or less or more or whatever, there are over 400 Americans still in Afghanistan behind enemy lines. So, yeah. So that's, even though you don't hear it in the news, folks, it's still going on. I guess I'll lead off with this kind of my final thought. Again, like I said earlier, just because you don't see it in the news doesn't mean that it's all resolved and it's not still going on. So just remember that. As a matter of fact, take it a step further and be careful and be wary of what they want you to focus on at the expense of something else. So they've stopped focusing on Afghanistan now, and they've gone on to, climate change. Well, they have all your attention on climate change. Meanwhile, Afghanistan is still suffering. So just be careful. Be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts?
This was last week, right? The World Series was starting. Yes. And they were in Houston, but I just noticed the beginning of the game, they're singing the Star Spangled Banner. The Star Spangled Banner is being sung, and they show all the players. Everybody was taking their hat off and putting it over their heart,
Yes.
and bowing their head. And they showed this young man in the stands, and he was crying.
Oh, wow.
I have to assume they didn't interview him. He didn't say anything during that time. And I have to assume that it's because of the country that we have and the song that he was hearing at the moment. And, it's so good to see that, especially a young man like 25 years old is bowing his head and crying while the Star Spangled Banner is being sung. Wow. And it's so little of that and so few of that now. And we got high schools that are canceling the national anthem because it's offensive to the 5 Arabs that are sitting in the audience. And the other thing I want to say, because baseball is one of the icons or representations of freedom. It represents being free in America. And it was so glad to see, especially after last year, the stadium was packed, no social distancing, people sitting right next to each other, and most of them didn't have masks on.
That's right.
This is in Atlanta and Houston. Well, we know Houston is a part of Texas, and we know how they roll.
Right.
So, listen, hey, maybe we're not 100% back, but we are on the upswing and the uprise, coming back to a place of freedom. You want to kick out a few reminders to people about things that they can click and look for on YouTube and whatnot?
Yes, and follow us on YouTube. And thank you for our current subscribers. And be sure to forward it to your friends, share it with your friends, and ask them to like us and to subscribe to us and to hit that notifications button so they'll be notified when a new episode is uploaded. We are still working on our socials, the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and others. So we're still working on our socials, and we'll get those to you as soon as we can. Leave a 5-star review for us wherever you listen to this podcast. We'd really appreciate it. And with that, have a wonderful week.
Yes, have a wonderful week. And remember, everyone, that right now you can go to Facebook and do a search on Brutally Honest Talk Radio, and the page that we have so far will come up with several videos there. So people have been liking the Facebook page like crazy. So when that happens, you automatically get updated and get videos and stuff sent to you that way, just like you would on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so everybody take care. God bless America. And guess what? We'll catch you on the next episode.
Catch you then. Bye-bye.